So a lot of the dysfunction in masculinity and our lack of maturity and manhood is part of a vast cultural context that you cannot undo in just one dimension.
Sure.
All of it has to go along with all of it.
Mm.
And we're deep, deep, deep in this territory of separation.
Mm.
And the walk back is a long, long walk.
Mm.
But there is a walk back. And we can, knowing how deeply lost we are, we become attuned to the way.
Yeah.
And we become attracted to things that we recognize as part of the healing of in every dimension, part of the healing of masculinity, for example. And so part of it, you know, in these men's groups, if we take into it, it's not so much I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable. Like, why? Why do you want to be vulnerable? Like, part of masculinity is focus on a goal.
Right. With this,
what is the actual goal? What is the actual goal? Let's be honest with ourselves. That's actually a good start. Maybe the goal is, I want to stop pretending.
Yeah, and also I'm remembering what you said earlier about going beyond or discovering your limitations. First of all, discovering your limits and then going beyond them.
Yeah.
Because that's a good question you asked, you know, why be vulnerable?
And this is something men can do for each other.
Yeah.
Okay. They can refuse to comply with your belief in your own limitations.
Exactly.
It's like that guy, fix it. Fix it. Don't ask me to do it. Where does that come from? That comes from knowing that you can fix it. My high school track coach offered a bit of this. You know, it's like, okay, boys, we're going to do repeat quarters, 10 quarters, 65 seconds. I'm like, I can't do that. Well, he knew better than I did what I could do. And put me in a situation where I discovered capacities beyond what I knew. Yeah. Like that. And that is a classic form of masculine mentorship. It's not like indulgent.
Right. And it's, I'm struck by the example with the school teacher there. Actually, what flashed in my mind was a physical education teacher I had who we were all very afraid of. This was in a boys' school. And I remember, we're doing laps, running around the track or whatever, and I remember I was insisting I had a cold, and I was just being a wimp, and he basically comes out with a cricket bat, and whacks me around the back of the legs and keep going, like snap out of it,
Yeah.
And then I was just flashing on a community I was a part of. We got into this thing, the men, we'd all get together once a month on a Sunday and we'd do these push-up marathons. And the idea was you could rest, but you had to stay on your feet and hands. You couldn't put your body on the floor. So you could do some push-ups and then rest for a bit. And we all went way, way beyond whatever we possibly thought we could do. I've also been a marathon runner in the past, and there's something about this, because there's the drive to achieve, and therefore dominate and compete, which has its when it's out of touch with the wider picture, which we were talking about earlier. But there's also something really life affirming and so important in terms of bringing real courage online, when men really go beyond their limits and are pushed beyond their limits together. And I think there's something about it when it happens with other men and by other men, because it's like men intuitively know, oh no, you can go further, or you can go beyond that, even if they haven't done it themselves, and then one person does it and it brings something forth in the other. And so it's really quite, Yeah, it's quite something to discover that there's a healthy competition,
Right.
that actually leads to a deeper communion.
Yeah. Let's not be too quick to throw out everything from, from our legacy, from the old society. These things, as I said before, they may have become distorted, but they're coming from an authentic place and they have a long history. I want to say a little bit more about my coach, just an anecdote that illustrates this. So his name was Mr. Horner, rest his soul. One time, a promising athlete comes to the workout, Todd, his name was, and Todd's got some talent, but he's not in shape, and we're doing repeat quarters. And
what does that mean, repeat quarters?
Okay, you do your one lap run, at a certain time, and then you rest for half a lap or a lap, usually half a lap, and then you do another one, and then you do another one until the coach tells you that you've done enough. Usually I'll tell you at the beginning on how fast you have to do each one, and if you don't make the time, it doesn't count.
I see.
Okay, so Todd, after like 4 or 5 of these, he's had it. He's like, this is his first day of practice. Mr. Horner, I quit. And Mr. Horner says, oh, no, you don't. Not until you finish these quarters. So he literally wouldn't let him. Now, did he actually use physical force to make him run around the track? No.
Right.
But he created a field of expectation that as a young man, Todd could not shy away from.
Right.
He was speaking to the part of him that wants to be a man.
Right.
And is not sadistic.
Yeah.
Although sometimes we suspected Mr. Horner of sadism, but it's actually not sadistic.
Yeah.
It would only be sadistic if you knew he couldn't do it and you made him try anyway.
Yeah, or you just in hurt, you wanted to hurt somebody.
But what he wanted, in his way, he loved us and he wanted to see us fulfill our potential.
Yeah.
And it pained him to see us malingering or, feeling sorry for ourselves or indulging in our supposed weakness. He would not put up with that. And that's something, so a mentor or a coach figure can do that for us. And then as we mature, then we also do that for each other. So competition is similar. Healthy competition, it's a way to reveal to ourselves our strengths and weaknesses. And you're in a competition, part of it is that you try your hardest.
Right.
Take it seriously, even though on some level, it's a game. You take it seriously because the question is, what am I capable of? What am I not capable of? What if, suppose, I decide that I want to be a world-class discus thrower. I could lift as many weights as I want and train as much as I want, but there's no way that I would ever come close to Jay Kislak, who was the best discus thrower on our track team. And if he decided he was going to be a miler, there is no way that he would ever come close to me in the mile.
Right.
Competition can show us that. It can free us of our delusions about ourselves. It shows us the honest truth. And that is also what we can do for each other as men in a men's circle, in a men's group. We refuse to put up with each other's shit. And it's not out of domination of each other. And I'm going to call you on that. It's an act of service to each other.
Exactly.
Because I know that you don't want to be mired in your own bullshit either. And I and we, the circle, we're going to call you into responsibility. We're not going to accept your excuses because they are lies.
Yeah.
We see you as beyond what your excuses are telling you.
Right.